Hey everybody, this is my own version of a public service announcement. Over the last few months, I've had maybe over the last 7 or 8 months, I've been having this thing going on where I'm just like real urgent, the urgency to urinate. Like when I have to pee, like I do. Y'all know I do a 2 mile walk every day, and I'd just be like halfway through my walk, and I'd be like, oh my God, I'm about to pee on myself. Just that urgency to urinate. And also I had noticed that during the night I sleep like a baby and I always sleep right through like a rock. And I started first off having to get up at least once during the night to pee. And then it got to where I was getting up like at least two times a night during the night to pee. And we all self-analyze them like, oh, I just wonder my pre-diabetes is getting worse, or am I drinking too much water at night? And then at 68 years old, at my age, we chalk everything off. A lot of us do to just old age. You have to pee a lot when you get older. So anyhow, I want to share this with you right here about my doctor's appointment. And also for men folk of my age, or 50 or older, knowledge is powerful. It's just powerful. The more we know, the more powerful we are. And for some of you women that might listen to this that have a husband, and but they're like me and other men. They're like, oh, ain't nothing wrong with me. Get up 2 or 3 times a night to pee, or having a hard time holding an erection or getting erections. And, we just chalk it up with stuff going on. My concern was that maybe I was starting to get prostate cancer, that it was just something had shifted, had changed a lot over 7 or 8 months in my body. And so I know that my cousin Danny's been dealing with prostate cancer for like 10 years. And then I have a buddy in my neighborhood here who I follow on Facebook who had the severe type of prostate cancer where they just went in and took his whole prostate out. So first off, I'm very proactive with my health because I want to live. I want to live as long as I can keep this old withered body with all its wrinkles and gray hair healthy and around. Praise God, I want to live. As Susan Hayward, I think, said one time in a film. But anyhow, my fear was that I'd have prostate cancer. So I went in to see my doctor. I explained to him what all was going on, and he asked me all the symptoms, and I told him about the urgent need to urinate and getting up during the night, and he asked me about erections, and I'm like, well, I'm at the age where that's not really my concern. He's like, yeah, but, and then we talked about that, and so I told him mainly, I said, I want to have the PSA, which is the test they do on the prostate. I said, I want to have that done to make sure that nothing's like cancerous going on, because I want to live. If I ever get cancer of the prostate, like my buddy in the neighborhood, I'm like, just take it out. My God, I can live without sex. There's many things in life to be enjoyed without being sexual. Although I'm I consider myself still a very sexual person. So anyhow, my PSA came back like zilch, nothing's going on there. So he told me I had an enlarged prostate. There's a medical term for it. He said basically your prostate, as you get old, sometimes it enlarges a little bit, and it's right up against the bladder. And when you have an enlarged prostate, it's continually making you feel like you have to pee. Or it can just make you feel like you really urgently need to pee right then. He said it's the bladder it's impacting. And I had learned to live over the last years with almost like this just subtle, always feel like I had to pee, but it just kind of just there. And it's gone now, at least for this season. And I noticed that I sang this last couple of weeks ago, or last Sunday at the theater at Metro, and usually I would have a anticipatory, like I equated that feeling to having to tinkle, like anticipatory anxiety, like nervous a little bit or anxious or something. Had none of that. None of that. Didn't have to pee before or afterwards. None of that. So anyhow, he talked to me about treatments. He said, well, there's a couple of treatments we could do to get your prostate back down. He said one of them, I think he said it was Flomax or something, and he said it'll bring it down. He said one of the side effects of that's pretty common, said it completely dries up your semen, where you can still have orgasms, but you have no semen. And I'm like, well, I don't like that. I don't like that. Hey, phone call. I'm back. So anyhow, he said, yeah, one of them's, I think Flomax, he said it just stops you from, you can have orgasms, but you have no semen. And I'm like, no, I don't know. I enjoy that part. I mean, not to be whatever, I'm just talking adult talk here. I'm like, I don't want to do that. I know it's real common to men that have prostate issues. So he said the other, and here's the thing I wanted to share. He said the other is to take a daily Cialis, which is an erection thing that thins your blood. And he said that's been shown to work amazing to reduce the prostate also. So I told him, I'm like, really? I told him, I said, well, back when I was like in my late 40s, Viagra was the big thing. I said, I went to my doctor and I told him, I said, well, I think I want to try that Viagra. And I did. And he said, I'm going to tell you, if you don't quit smoking them 3 packs of cigarettes a day, you'll be dead by the time you're 50. Well, I was only 48. But anyhow, I tried Viagra, and I never did try it after that rarely, because it made my face get all red, and I felt this pressure in my head, and there was warnings about, if you had Viagra and took other stuff or something, it could cause you to have a heart attack. And then you remember that scene where there's a movie where Jack Nicholson is dating a younger woman up on Cape Cod or Fire Island or somewhere, and he has a heart attack, and they rush him to the hospital. Well, he's dating this woman's half his age, and he's laying in the emergency room, and the doctor's putting an IV in his arm, and the doctor says, do you take any Viagra? And he's, Jack, men are real funny about that. They, you don't mess with their manhood. They don't need they can get an erection. And Jack Nicholson told him, said, no, I don't take none of that. All my stuff, I'll do it natural. And the guy's starting to put a needle into the line of the IV. And he said, well, I'm just telling you, sir, if you have taken Viagra, this shot will kill you. And Jack Nixon just reaches over and just jerked the whole IV out of his arm because he didn't want to die. But anyhow, went off on a little tangent there. So anyhow, the doctor told me, said, you can take this 5 milligram Cialis daily, just like you take any other. Just take it daily. And he said, plus it'll do other things. Maybe if you're not getting as strong as erections, it'll make your erections stronger too. He said, but all that's in you. I'll tell you something else. I asked him, I said, being that I'm almost 70 years old, should I masturbate just for the health of my prostate, even if I don't feel like it? And he's like, no. I said, does it make your prostate healthier to make sure you use it? And he's like, no, not really. He said, but it does wonders for your mental health. He said, because after you masturbate or have sex, you certainly do feel better. And I'm like, well, that's true too. That is true. So anyhow, I started taking this Cialis, 5 milligram once a day. And I'm telling y'all, after about a week, it must have shrunk my prostate because I'm not getting back up during the night to pee. I'm not having no urgency to run around and just get back to the toilet so I can pee because it's just an intense urgency. So it worked. And then the side benefit of it is it also makes you have stronger erections, which, most men don't like to talk about. Like, oh, no, it's kind of got me feeling frisky again, more so than normal. So anyhow, this is just for men out there 50, 60, 70 years old, starting to tinkle, pee problems. So just get your PSA, first off, get your PSA checked and make sure there's no cancer going on there because it's very common in men to have prostate cancer. The second thing is talk to a doctor. I would tell you to try this. It's it's a daily Cialis. The generic name is tadalafil. Maybe I don't know where